the play we saw from Cyclops against Empire, how much they can struggle as soon as the battle will be brought to the outside. So maybe we'll see BDS take a couple of elements of that in their defensive half. But first, of course, it's going to be Empire to start off there. We'll start it out with a Hibana ban as the first attacker to be gone. So will be followed up with maybe a Thatcher from BDS, maybe something completely different. No, we're staying per usual Thatcher ban.
Yeah. It's the standard. It's the sort of setup that you'll see removed here. So far, I think on this region, I still have curiosities, and this is sort of half unrelated to the ban phase right now of Flores, because we haven't really seen, I think, any use at all today. Yeah, was there any use in the previous map? I don't recall.
Not that I recall.
No. Aruni's gone though. Aruni as a removal, she's had a lot of use across the board. She, to be fair, on Cafe, not as much as other maps and sites that you've seen in things such as, you know, Consulate especially, or Coastline as well. But here, I mean, I can see why she might have been taken out. It removes a bout of confidence for BDS. And it removes a gun that, to be fair, they're very talented with. Hey, look, you know when I was like, wait, he'll be back, sixth pick. That'll be sixth pick.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, it'd be cool to see Flores.
Lems is like, you know what?
Thanks, Lems.
I'll give it to you.
You're great.
Maybe.
It's not confirmed
we don't know yet. But
I mean, you assume that might be a sixth pick. There it is. Sort of discussion in the balance. Goya was another one that I was sort of expecting to see a fair bit of, especially on that top floor, is the extension of Goya shields. You'll see him removed quite a lot because there'll be a shield on Pixel, and then often there's a shield inside the vault in the center by the freezer, and then
maybe bathroom as well.
Yeah, like you can put one in the bathroom. It gives you, it's almost like it's Attack on Titan. There's 3 walls that you fall through, and you hit the first one on Pixel, and then you'll fall back and be like, to the next wall, and then that one falls. And
you fall even further back.
Yeah, but it's a consistent bout of utility that has to be wasted from the attackers to get rid of those. That, to be fair, Flores might work well against.
Yeah, and you're talking about utility waste, and I think that's exactly how Aruni would be coming into play if you had her on this top floor. Normally we see that around Cigar, we see the doors being pushed off towards either piano or towards the top of red stairs, and a lot of utility often gets eaten by that. So I get the removal. It makes sure that you have more left to try and deal with other utility pieces, such as these Goyo shields or such as Evil Eyes that will be deployed by Shepard. So yeah, let's see how that one will play out. What we do see is that double ADS setup right underneath the drone hole, next to a mute jammer on top of red stairs, will maybe be used to try and catch off some of that utility.
It puts you in a very sort of locked-in position there. Cafe is a big battle around this top of red, and then swinging your way on the back side. We have seen BDS diversify their pushes somewhat. Sometimes they'll go with that extension onto the flat eastern front, which is very thin. It's tough to offer yourself too much support from it. So if you do find yourself under a lot of pressure from the jump out on white window or from the potential of the sort of Christmas doorway, it's dangerous. Here, though, it's pretty standard. They have the cover, obviously, on that garage run out. They've made sure they have that safety. The burn of those discs gives them a little bit more of an idea, but as that door gets popped open, Scythe is just sort of giving them food for thought.
I imagine if the Rooney was up, the ADSs and everything, and then you're having to deal with that. So it's a good removal. The more I see it, the more we're into this round, the more I understand why that pick or why that ban was been put up. And Lam's afraid of a potential run out. Nothing he can really do except for holding it for now, waiting for his teammates to clear some stuff up. And as Shaiko is starting to enter, well, Joystick is hiding below, so they need to make sure that the flank will be watched, and they do have air jibs available to use that.
Well, Dan is the first one to suffer as Shaiko is able to get that opening body. Alems, there's only so long you can be there and not sort of get the result, because it also keeps Rafal off of a position where he can apply that pressure too, so you've got to try and go with a plan B. You've got to try and rebuild yourself quicker than that, especially when you're approaching that 1 minute mark, because there's still a lot left to do on that top floor. There's still a lot left to sort of dig your way across, and you can't be entirely concerned about the potential of the runouts on the other thing if you're not being aggressive to sort them out, because Empire aren't a team that's just going to throw themselves to the wolves without anything. There against the little drive and the little explosion. Womai's going to dig himself in, though, on Pixel. He's just going to sort of lie down behind the Goyo shield. It's a dangerous place to be if that gets popped. but it's down to if it actually gets the pop round.
Yeah, well, grenades being tossed in now, and that will force Always to fall back. Saito will still hold on for now, because there is that secondary shield we have been talking about. The first one will blow up, though. I was about to say, Saito, you really do not want to stay there, because that is going to be getting you killed. And as I believe that was a... Not a Selma, something else just got... Oh, it was a Selma that just got tossed into that window. Well, making sure that that will open up, putting up some extra pressure onto that shield.
Well, Shaco just tried to drive their way through. They realize they're low on time. Brede with the trade on the deep back line finds the second right in the middle. Rafal hopped in on the other side. Suddenly leaves just Scyther by himself. The C-Thor, but he thought he could make it work. Unfortunately, read too late, just where everything was starting to pull together. They heard the start of the push and then realized it was actually the swing from the eastern side. And I said it's something where BDS can be quite diverse in their take, and they're able to actually opt towards it when they realized they were so stuck on that standard entrance.
Very good usage of Flores here, we have to say, making sure that first the Evil Eye goes. And why I had a little bit of a giggle was due to the parkour he took. He went as far out just so the Evil Eye wouldn't be able to see him, and then at the moment the Evil Eye had line of sight, just jumped and clicked the button so it would detonate right in front. And of course, right afterwards onto the shield as well. So two key pieces of utility removed by the Flores drone. And with that, Piana was able to be taken under control, especially with the Selma that got used as well, because the drone also blew up the ADSs that could have been located there.
Good opening around there from BDS. Empire, they did well to sort of scarper them and hold them at bay for a very long period of time. There was still a lot of work left to do on the site by the time everything sort of came together, but I don't think they expected that swing in from the eastern side. It was, as I said, a great response from BDS to sort of hit both balconies at the same time, quite hot. Shaiko was obviously the drive for the point there, and you've also then got to give credit to BDS to sort of just finding a way to apply pressure in and realizing that, you know, sure, there's a lot left to do, but we've still got to try and do it, where a lot of other teams would struggle and would not quite be able to find their way into that situation.
That's the thing, and BDS just has that switch that they can flip, like, all right, we're going from methodical to just trying to make something happen, trying to get some kills here and there. Shaco was the first one to try and make it happen. He fell, but instant refrags were coming out on the other side, and with that, they were still able to make sure that that first round will be going their way. And we are playing on a cafe which is normally, you know, if we're talking traditionally, defense-sided. So if BDS picks up their first defensive round, that's already a big win. If they manage to continue growing from here, if they manage to continue getting more rounds, it is looking even better for them.
Well, heading up to the top to get the control from top down is the pretty standard way of locking this in. You really need to try and find some of the bodies on the verticality and see if you can get anything that's offered, but nothing is being handed to them too specifically. They've got to try and get boots in the ground, and Iana is the first one to make those attempts on waves, at least back up some of the drones and move some of the drones of their own. They know that there's this backline that's going to be here. You've got the Banshee that makes that approach on White Corridor not as bad as it used to be now that you can shoot them as you get close, but still, it's such an isolating position to be in. It's such a tough place to try and dig your way in because you've got White Stairs, you've got Lumber, you've got all these possibilities of them swinging onto you.
At least we do see that a lot less of the utility clearage util from the defender. Look at that again, just throwing it around the corner, knowing exactly where it is. There's no chance that that Evil Eye will be able to survive or take out the drone before it explodes. Beautifully played again with that Flores drone. And the second one is coming out. We'll maybe be creating a bit of a rotation here on the wall, allowing Iana to move through just a little bit further.
Yeah, again, it's the great adaptation we've seen with the Flores drones. It's sort of that two-pronged way of using it to dig out utility or using it to open the rotations. You have that option, which if you're bringing sort of goodbye, Dan with the hop out there. I said East can be very thin. Alems has the response, though. He made an option, he made a choice, thinking he could get there rather than towards the Christmas door in time, and he'd have a little bit more support, but either way, it led to disaster. Shaiko gets joystick, gets one more as Scyther suffers two. It's Alems. Takes the head of the top of the body in the middle of the White Stairs, leaving just Shepard alone. Yet again, a clutch situation and possibility here for Empire, but it's not in the greatest situation. Knows that this is probably still being watched. Alems is just calling it and saying, listen, I've got it. You do the rest. But in the meantime, Brede's found his way through onto the site.
And trying to get that plan down, and Shaiko, of course, there with the cover. The Selma had opened up before, and with that, all you need to do is hold the angle, because they knew he didn't go up, so he must have still been on the stairs because it was being watched. And As a result, BDS with a very nice second round. And I'm very impressed by BDS right now. This is looking very clinical, these 2 rounds we have seen.
I mean, it's great that we get to watch them in our region. Because they're so consistently good. They're almost a meter and a metric for how the rest of the region
are
is
the bar.
up. They are the bar. They've been the bar for a long time now. They've been able to sort of drive themselves into this situation where consistently, and it's one of the things that's said about BDS as a team, is they're all so good at what they do.
Yeah.
They're all so dedicated to their role and what they have to bring in terms of obviously that backline and getting that plant down in Brede, who had such an unbelievable amount of plants during SI, or in terms of being that entry and that drive in Shaiko. Yeah, and then that's just 2. And then you've still got Alems, one of the best IGLs, one of the best passion in the world. Renshiro, one of the best flank watchers and one of the best old school sort of players in this game, and being able to pull. And then Rafal, who again has came into that sort of flex and that flank watch role. It's just such a great roster that, as I said, it's our metric for measuring how good EU teams are. But then in that retrospect, you realize not only how good does BDS have to be that bar, but how consistent they have to be.
Yeah, and at SI, I saw them stumble a little bit here and there. They made some mistakes, but so far these 2 rounds have been flawless by them. Just the floor's usage is so well thought through. They managed to take out so much utility with it. And now as well, you see these shields and you're like, those won't be safe. They will be taking them out. And they're pretty quick on everything they do as well. They're setting themselves up. They're putting themselves in a position where they want to be. And don't really seem to be struggling. They forced every fight in their advantage so far, these 2 rounds. And I'm not sure if that's Empire just not feeling it or if it's BDS that is just out of this world right now.
Well, Empire have a little bit of waking up to do. 2 kills over 2 rounds isn't a great statistic to sort of have flaunting and held over your head here, because as far as the pace of BDS and how it's been applied so far, is it hasn't seemed massively stressed. Sure, the round that we just had before was a lot quicker in terms of finding their way through into the site itself, but otherwise the first round was a big rotation, but a fantastic adaptation, and one where they never seemed entirely stressed in how to actually put themselves par for the course. The play wasn't sloppy, it was just a little bit late, which is still fine. Here, though, it's a very quick clear of the top 2 floors as they finally start to approach that hatch inside. There's a little bit of a response from Missed C4 underneath, and it was a bit eager.
A bit eager indeed, and right now just the rotations coming through. There is no more C4s left in Empire. They do have a couple of yokais though they can try and use, and if a lot of the verticalities being opened up, the pressure will be on as well, and they will know that on BDS, and well, their job now will be to try and clear out as much of the utility as they can, to clear out these anchor positions where the Empire players will be sitting. Now, with everything opened up, Renshiro will be covering off the top floor, will be covering off the rotations into safe ground. And if you then get these florist drones in, as Alems is now going to be deploying, they will be walking back right into your crosshair at some point, and you're just going to be able to pick up the kill for free in that case.
Renshiro knows roughly where a man is, but it gets caught. Flores, he's there with a drone, causing his own problems. They're able to swing in and push under the pressure. Joystick is doing his best, but Shaiko gets the man who tried to offer some support, and Brede is there to cut off the man himself. A quick take on Bakery with a great double down of pressure on 2. The door itself. Now, though, they've set themselves with eyes further into the site. The drones are still steadily wearing away. There's a big hole all down that red core long corridor as they're going to double up with that Melusi on the backside too. They have entirely left the site. They're going to trust their cross angles, trust the control that they can get, but otherwise it's down to Scyther on those Echo drones. That might be the only thing that breaks this away, but in the meantime, they're not aware because Brede just sticks it, and that puts them in a very tricky situation. Scyther gets one, gets dropped by Brede in the trade and the pickup there, and puts them in a 4 versus 2 post plant. It's not very long though. BDS pick them up almost instantly.
Witnessing a masterclass of attacking on Cafe Dostoyevsky here by BDS at this very moment. 3 rounds in a row to manage to win, and Empire just completely left without any answers so far. We are going back to Bar Cocktail. We're going back to that top 4, and BDS will be bringing the exact same lineup as they have been bringing over the last 3 rounds, because why would they change? What would they change? There's absolutely no need. They will be able to deal with literally everything The one thing to keep in mind, though, is that the last time around here, I believe the first round it did come down to a bit of a push at the end for BDS. They had to flip that switch we have been talking about, but the other 2 rounds, that wasn't really the case. They have been very methodical, very surgical, and Empire has been cut out of the playing field successfully. And as we head into round 4, the question is, will BDS stay? Like, will they stay this surgical? Or will finally Empire wake up and decide that, you know, maybe 1 kill per round is not really enough to win them? We need to find more.
Okay, we have ourselves a split. We have ourselves in a situation now where BDS are gonna, I guess, try and repeat what was, as he said, a masterclass, a very put together and perfect opening towards, I suppose, the start of success, theoretically. Because at this point, it's down to Empire. It's down to the questions that are going to be posed to them of how are you going to respond to what has been a clinic, what has been a very clinical approach towards just entirely controlling anything you've tried to do. It's hard in their situation to sort of say, how do we pull something out of this sort of BDS car?
Yes.
When you haven't really been able to have a glimpse from their perspective, what have they truly seen of this BDS push before it's become overwhelming?
That is it, right? And it's just so scary to see, because you saw them trying to help, like previous round, the person bakery, but the crossfires are there. Everything is set up, so if the person even moves a pixel out of the position, he will be taken out by any of the BDS players, and they'll just wrangle themselves around the Empire hold as we speak. And as Alems has just given a bit of a speed boost to his drone, he will be taking out 1 of the Banshees. That will be allowing Shaiko to move in without actually being slowed down into that cocktail bar. But I believe there is another one right next to the bar that they would have to take care of. As more of these Flores drones are being used, grenades are being tossed in as well, but the ADS will be holding that one off, as I believe that is a Gun 6 that just got eaten up by the ADS as well, so grenade will have to do the job. That is going to be 2. Oh, no, it just came active again. That is very unfortunate here for Shaiko.
I know, poor timing, unfortunately, so he might have to drive his way through. And to be fair, he was the first point of push and pressure previously. I like how Empire have locked themselves in this time round. They're going to give them even less to work with and say you're going to have to try a bit harder, because to be fair, as I said, the start was Shaiko digging his way through onto the site. After a lot, to be fair, had been cleared from utility side, he's trying to find a little bit of an easier route through right now, or at least get an idea of the potential, the punch on the drone of Dan, close with that hell of a shotgun that can work so many wonders in those close quarter engagements, and the consistency is, to be fair, depending on the user, and Dan is pretty good with that gun.
50 seconds, even less than the board right now, and still no kill to be found for either of them. Extra drones are coming in to deal with these pieces of utility that will be slowing them down. Also putting up some pressure there into... Oh, that's a good shot coming through here from Dan, who will be able to confirm the kill. However, the rest of BDS is trying to flood the side as we speak.
Big trades come through, 30 seconds left, and they're going to try and stick it. In the meantime, the fight happens either side, and it's all BDS's way. Alems does go down, though, and Shepard's able to lock it off as they try and re-stick somewhere else. It's a 3 versus 1. The pings are coming through pretty consistently. Sprays towards the attempt on the plant, unfortunately. Not enough bullets in always his magazine to be able to try and lock that off. 40 seconds. We don't see many of it. Another plant, another hold, and another BDS round.
And you're wondering, like, what did BDS do here? Well, let me count the piece of utility they've used. They used the Selma to open up into piano to give extra rotation possibilities. They, of course, open up the hatches with the sledgehammer. Then they use the Selma to open up towards the balcony, which makes that anchor position right between the 2 tables unplayable. They've used 2 or 3 Flores drones to make sure that the Banshees will not be in play. And after that, flip the switch and go. Go for the kills. Go for the plant if you see the opportunity. And it seems to be working out so well for them. And Empire, again, they're not able to find a response. Yes, they get some kills, but nowhere near enough to make sure that they win a round. Because I believe totally now they're on 5 kills. That's enough for a round, but we're already in round 5.
We're sort of just blitzing our way through this so far. It's been so succinct. Yeah, and it's not even that, as I said, BDS are trying to play this quick. It's just that Empire is struggling to hold on to anything BDS are trying to do. It's sure, bits of adaptation and bits of changes, but again, the mid-round sort of rotations, the new plays that BDS are putting themselves into the situation of, sometimes you'll look at these problems from our fantastic, omnipotent perspective, where it's so easy for us to say, you know, sit back and go, oh, that's, you know, why didn't they do that? Why is that there? There's the problem. But even now, even in this situation, you're looking at this and you're thinking, BDS are all over the shop. There's a great way to open it up. Dan, with that early punishment against the Lems, takes care of the Flores, which, to be fair, has been a big blow and a big cost for them. So that could be the response. Get a little bit more aggro, make sure they get less comfortable. And to be fair, they tried locking up shop previous and it didn't work. So why not extend this other way?
Exactly, and I'm going to add to that as well. Right now, it doesn't seem like BDS could be doing anything differently that would make it go better. Of course, not losing your floors would have been perfect there, but of course, the spawn peak used by Empire, you know, credits to them. They managed to make it stick, and now they have to make use of it. Now they have to make sure that they get the round as a result, because as so far, haven't been able to get a single one yet, and Shaka now taking a gunfight onto Dan, who was playing on Pixel. A single point of damage dealt to Dan. Will be able to do a little bit of damage himself, and fell back now towards the white stairs. Of course, is close to teammates to provide support if needed, and as Shaiko is trying to find some information, trying to find out where these players are, surely soon he will be following after, trying to get these gunfights against Saito, against Always, to make sure that they bring the man count back in their favor.
Renshiro really wants this close bout of pressure and the drop just on that back line. We saw the burn of all that utility go, but it wasn't quite enough. 2 grenades popped for a second, and neither was able to catch Scyther. Soon some of this stuff might come back into life with those ADSs that have some life towards that backline shield. A great swing onto Shaiko. They're responding with this bout of aggression. The drop now is way more isolated as they pull themselves back behind the bar on the far side, but with a minute 10 left, they've got to try and dig through. Bride gets that opener, and they're just going to try and cut themselves onto the site itself, down Zulu corridor, right in the middle of it, with the sort of the stop of the approach there from the back line and the washroom. They're still trying to find themselves just some solidity with the drones whirring underneath.
And they will have to as well. They're a bit behind now, a situation they haven't really found themselves in yet throughout this game, and that makes it a little bit less clinical than that we're used to seeing from them. But it doesn't mean that it's not salvageable, because Renshiro, if he manages to find the kill here on the top floor, suddenly there's a lot of control in the hands of BDS, and as Rafal drops, he needs to find a little bit more than that, as Renshiro now goes aggressive, able to find 1, needs to find 3 more, however, to get it with Bride. If they want to be able to pick up this round, and while they have a breach, they just need to find a way to go for a plant safely.
There it is. There is a bit of a loose potential catch there. The pings will come through. Just saw the end of the barrel of the gun, but not much time. Renshiro is able to find Always and pull them out. 10 seconds. They're able to start digging themselves onto Reading itself. Going to look for the fight on Pillars. Shepard is that close line. Bride gets 1. There's the response.
Oh, no way,
Bride! Hopped in the backside, took the first, and they tried to escape out the door in time, but what a play from Bride.
I don't know why, but I don't feel nervous when I see BDS in a situation like this after we saw the previous 4 rounds. Yes, they're 2 men behind at some point, but you're like, the way that they're playing, there's no panic in this play. I don't know if you realize it, but they're calm, collected. They're very confident. They're like, if we lose a round, we'll lose a round, but we'll just keep on playing like we normally do. We play like ourselves, and you don't see the panic in their flicks. They know exactly where these players are. They cut off the angle 1, they go up for the second, then of course, well, someone drops, he tries to run for it, but Bride is already in the position where he can make sure that he can go for that refrag. The plan was never to plant in that round. It was to make sure that those kills would go their way, and BDS able to win round number 5 even after being 2 men behind. And here we see a couple of these replays. Renshiro, the first important kill. And after that, the beautiful headshot that was maybe a little bit more difficult to hit than he would have hoped, because he saw it, had to shoot a couple of times, but eventually got it. And that definitely gave them an opportunity to fight back, because suddenly no more pressure from above. All you need to do is clear the site.
It's tough for Empire. That's the first time I would say we've really seen BDS sweat when a round has sort of been pulled away from them. They came to the end of it. They were able to find success, obviously, with some big plays and big clutches and rotations, but at the same time, Empire, they've got to be able to try and take something away from that. Because to be fair, the first 4 rounds, they were able to take pretty much nothing away from it. So to see some of that growth is hopefully a good sign. At the same time, it's 5-0. They have one chance to offer themselves a little bit of a buffer before they head to their attack on Cafe.
You really do not want to go into this with a 6-0 against the BDS that is playing like this currently, and then yourself having to go over to the attack. Now, even with the floors being taken care of, an operator that we have been praising so much because BDS have been using him into perfection, you can almost say. Even then, they managed to open up what was necessary, create the openings and create the gaps to find themselves successful. BDS now doesn't spot the Valkyrie camera there, it just goes active. That is going to be key for a potential... No, didn't even spot it, neither of them did. So surely that big blue circle would have been giving it away.
Well, they're going to use this intel for all it's worth. You can see Always isn't too far away, but you know you can't really get too aggro in this situation. Joystick could get something from the opposite side, swing towards the door. They're all calling all of this. They're sort of handing all that intel over to them and saying, listen, there's 3 bodies on this side. We have all of the possibility for something major there. They have all the coordination that they can pop off. Now there's 4 bodies that are playing onto that side. There's the hop out. There's the first. Quickly responded to. Are they going to make motions happen on the door? They're able to. I said joystick deep could be a problem, and he's causing it. And he pulls back, and suddenly they've been able to pull massive amounts out of that approach. Shaiko, though, instantly with 1 back on the opposite side.
That was another jump out, I believe, from Shepard, who was looking to make that happen. And while still the Valkyrie camera is active, there is a man down in library looking to potentially go for a run out if it's not being watched. And still the camera's up there. You see that the right top of the screen, it goes on, off, on, off. And as they start repelling in right now, the top floor will be under control. The plans will be coming through. And that Valkyrie camera will be even more important now, because if they do manage to go for the run out, they might be able to stop everything from happening. But 45 seconds on the clock, and it's only Dan and Always left in a 2v3. Make that a 1v3 situation where Always will have to retake. We'll go for the jump out. Doesn't even pick that one up though. Somehow gets Shaiko still, but it's going to be the air jab that will slow him down. There's almost no way that he has time to come all the way back up, especially not with the Claymore just deployed on those stairs. The question is, will he see them? No, he goes for a completely different approach. No time. This is a 6-0 for BDS. There's no way that he will be able to make it back up in time. And man, even with that Valkyrie cam, even with so much information going, no way you just did that there for that team kill. But BDS 6-0 and having fun. Well, they get the kill, but that's it. Flawless Alf.
I think, is that the first Flores kill we've had in 2-1?
That might have been. And they're laughing about it as well.
The first Flores kill in Tier 1 comp was Alem's on Brute in a post-1 situation for Empire. I mean, what spells confidence more than that?
Yeah, they're just having a lot of fun right now. There's absolutely no way that this is going back into Empire's way if you see them play like this. I'm saying it now again. The last time I said that, it got quite close. I almost go back to 6-6, but nah, I don't know what to say. This BDS just looks so confident, so well rehearsed. Everything is going their way, and even if the situation isn't the favorite for them, they stay calm and they manage to bring it back into their own hands. And that is definitely a wonderful skill to have as a team. And now on the defense themselves. One more round, and they will close off this matchup. And it will definitely be the quickest one yet.
It's so tricky. It's so tricky to sort of, as I don't know, I've highlighted it before, to just surmise where things are going wrong for Empire, because BDS is just playing that level above right now. They're, even with that Valkyrie camera and all the intel, they still were so quick to react to the jump out, to the pressure that came from the doorway right on the far opposite side of the corridor, picking up joystick as well while still hanging up there. And it's those moments where against other teams it might have entirely gone Empire's way, and probably would have gone entirely Empire's way. But right now, if we're going to talk about teams that are playing well on their day, BDS right now, they're playing other teams' games of the season, and they're doing it so casually.
I've not seen BDS this confident ever yet, I think. This is definitely a different BDS than that we saw at SI. It's also a different Empire that we've seen because, for example, Joystick not really showing up as bigly as he did before. And, well, let's see if maybe he can make a difference on the attack or whether or not BDS is just going to be closing this one off with a 7-0 and saying, like, come on, guys, this was always meant to be a speedrun.
Either way, it's the toughest ask now as they find themselves on attack with 6 rounds that they'll have to claw at, even for the hope, the sniff of a point on the opening play day here for a team that's always, obviously otherwise 9th on the board currently, especially after Secret's opening success here against Na'Vi. This probably meant more Shaiko. One for a swing against 2 bodies above the new hatches either side. The Nitro goes up and it gets Shepard. Picked up, dropped off, hard destruction's gone off the board now on this approach across the top, and that so severely limits anything you can do in terms of the approach.
The opening.
At least.
They
had one of those openings, but otherwise, that's bathroom locked off, that's half a freezer locked off. Luckily and thankfully, they went for an extension because it still gives you some option to swing in and get some angles back on that main core of the site, but Alems is just spraying back against that repel, that situation, and he's still taking the fights, refusing.
Oh, he
should not be allowed.
He gets the second kill.
He should not be allowed.
He goes for the third.
He should not be allowed. Any of them to pull off these plays. Finally, they find a body. Always has a minute, and it is that most isolating minute.
This is going to be a very long 60 seconds here for Always, and the thing is, he has to clutch it. There's no time. You cannot take a timeout now. You cannot use like, all right, guys, we'll take this minute to talk and see what we can do better. No, he needs to win this. So they need to talk whilst winning this round. And while grenades will be used, but just deal a little bit of damage up to Shaiko. And first needs to recover that diffuser. Shaiko's around the corner. Is he going to be able to find him or will he be found himself? It's going to be the end of it. Shaiko gets that final kill. A 7-0 clean sweep from BDS in, I dare to say, some of the best Siege we have ever seen from them.
I mean, it's hard to disagree. And I think that's the sad fact, but also a little bit to take away here for Empire is that I think a result would have been similar against pretty much any of the other teams at the minute by just how well BDS were playing.
Yeah.
It wasn't that Empire had a really rubbish day or threw things away or couldn't connect with things.
That's the thing.
It's just BDS connected everything.
It wasn't them making big mistakes that led to their downfall. It was BDS literally having every single angle covered, every single push covered, every single run. Everything was taken account for by BDS.
Well, let's see if the desk have anything that they can offer slightly more than, wow, BDS, pretty good. We'll throw it over to Milos.
I'm usually the wrong person to throw to when it comes to analysis for this, but I have Big Tim and Small Jess next to me for this one. Tim, can you describe this with as many words as humanly possible?
Wow, BDS, pretty good.
Would you agree with that sentiment?
You know, I have to agree. I'm going to also top it, a cherry on top to just say...
He keeps jumping between all the monitors.
Oh my God. I feel like I don't know where to look for Big Tim. He's always around everywhere. He's, I'm not
You're in our hearts, Tim.
Yeah, you're in our hearts, you're in our screens. I do want to add on to what Tim said and just say it is amazing that unfortunately we got the Team Empire online Team Empire again. How does this happen?
I don't know. That's a question I would ask you. How does that happen?
It wasn't, I don't want to say necessarily that Team Empire played bad today, but some of the decisions they made felt solo. Some of the plays that some of the players made were very, very solo. They were very, I suppose in hindsight, very selfish. And I think a lot of those players played very selfish today and not as a team coordinated play. So that's what let them down.
Anything bonus-wise from BDS? Because, Tim, at some point, there was even the Flores team kill because it looked like, they're like, we're just having fun. I wonder, sorry.
It's that Pokeball you ate before, bro.
It's just literally rice. I'm trying to ask you here, Tim, when you see that sort of thing pop up in the kill feed as Team Empire, it kind of kills your momentum because you never even had any of it during the game.
Well, this is the thing. It goes a little bit deeper than BDS having a bit of sort of cheekiness and a bit of fun, doesn't it? Because that sends a message to Empire. That's like, yeah, we can do this. Not a problem. And for me, confidence is the key word for BDS in that performance. I want to go back to round 3, Shaiko. He goes through a top floor clearance. They were defending Kitchen, and his movement speed through the map was unbelievable. If you watch it back, he's got Renshiro supporting because he wants to get established as Sledge in the mid floor. And the top 2 floors, they were just so confident that there was nobody there. Their information was on point. And you know what? If they took a gunfight, they were going to win it anyway. What does it matter? And it just really, really showed through. It was unbelievable from BDS. They were terrifying. And much as Jess and I said beforehand, Empire on LAN, BDS in league play, and back to the status quo.
Yep.
And keep in mind, BDS is the European team that went the deepest in international tournaments that have happened over the past year and a half, which are only 2, Invitational 2020 and Invitational 2021. So, yeah, it clearly shows the level. But we have our interview ready, so let's bring up LMs for a chat.
Hello.
Hello, LMs.
Hello.
Bonsoir, LMs. Congratulations on your victory. I gotta say, you look pretty chill today, even more chill than the usual.
Yeah. Just one thing, the Flores skill, it wasn't a troll, guys. I just want to say it first because, like, I swear, no, don't love, guys. It's not troll. Like, I just wanted to put it on the white stairs to make lose time, for the defuse.
Oh, and Bride was there.
Yeah, and like it was miscommunication with Bride. He jumped on the stairs and I killed him. But it was no trolling, like I swear. And I'm sorry if people take it as troll, but we are not the type of guys that are trolling, so that's it.
Well, we saw you all laughing in the end. Even Renshiro was laughing, so you could tell it was pretty hilarious in that moment. Well, you go up against Team Empire. Of course, let's talk about 6 Invitational and your performance there, because it's been a while since we talked about that. Of course, the expectation is always we're going to make it as deep as humanly possible, at least what we did last year. What do you feel you have learned from attending this Invitational 2021 in Paris? How does this translate into your gameplay today?
So yeah, after the 6, I think we had like a kind of disappointed result, knowing how capacity is. I think we learned a lot, looking at how Brazilians play the game actually, and we decided to play the game more, like bring more fun and more like team play and good mentality. I think that's what we were lacking the most on the 6 Invitational, and the most of all, like not being afraid of pushing people. Like I said many times, it's aggressive meta. So don't be afraid to take your fights. And if you win it, it's good. If you lose it, never mind. You will do better next time.
This is definitely the vibe that everybody was getting from the Brazilian players when they were competing in it. So yeah, I can tell the influence that it's had. And you know what? It was very successful today against Team Empire. Other than that, is there anything that's changed with BDS? Did you guys have some rest time after Invitational? Did you focus, like some teams have said, all day, every day, 9 a.m. till the evening practicing? Or did you take some time to rest and then reconvene?
To be honest, we took a lot of times because not a lot, but like a week of break. I think week and a half maybe, just to rest and to forget about the game. And yeah, we came in a fresh mentality, trying to adapt on the new meta with Flores especially, and we played. Like I won't lie, we didn't play that much since we came back. Maybe a few practices, but yeah. The training we put worked for today, so we are going to work to make it great for the season.
What do you think about Flores then, very quickly?
Like in my mind, I think it's maybe like the strongest operator right now on attack.
Really? Why do you say that?
Yeah.
And are you using it more for destruction, or are you using it to move people?
Like a lion.
Boss. Like
Okay.
like for example, on this game, I used it a lot to like destroy Melusi, Maestro device, shields if there is. And on the round, like we decided to rotate Bakery. I just used it to make the Jaeger move behind the Bakery desk to kill him. So like it's very very like hard to avoid because you need to be constantly watching at it. And if you are not watching, for example, someone is not throwing a flashbangs or something, like and create like a distraction, it's so easy to use. So I think it's one of the strongest operator right now.
Wow.
Between Zping, a bit of coordination,
Yep.
drones, and Flores, yeah, it's going to be a rough time in general for defenders that like to stay in one position. Alems, congratulations. There's no two ways around it. You absolutely smashed Team Empire today in the debut game for Stage 2 for BDS. Anything you'd like to say to all the fans out there, old and new? I know you've gathered still quite a few of them after Invitational.
Yeah, so thank you for the casting and the interview. Thanks to my teammate, thanks to BDS staff, thanks to everyone supporting us, and thanks to my family, my mom, my brother. Thank you, and see you next time for the next game.
And thank you to Echo the Cat. We cannot forget that. Thank you so
Yeah, the
much.
cat.
Thank you so much, Alems. Congratulations on your victory. Cannot wait until the next Playday where you guys go up against Vitality, a big French derby in our next Playday. Until then, mon ami, bonne nuit, bonne soirée. Bye-bye.
Bonne nuit. Bye bye.
There it is. Tim, the man is comfy, and it was not a Flores troll.
No, and it's very fair of Alems to point that out. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's the sort of thing we can't necessarily know. At this level, things like that will happen occasionally. But the thing is, the impact can still be the same on Empire, regardless of the reason that it's happened. You're still in that situation. You're almost being handed kills as team kills, and you're still not getting rounds over the line. It's still going to have an impact overall. But fair enough to clear that up. And BDS, wrong place, wrong time.
That's exactly what happens. I think the biggest thing also for next play day, not just for BDS